Yes, indeed. Yes, yes, yes. Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Gotta make sure we got the ethers going. Are we in the ether? Bong. Yes, yes. We are. We are connected through the ethers. Welcome, world. How are you? E-Cussionist is here, bringing you lesson number 3 for trimester number 3 in 2025, brought to you live on the NGO Radio Terra's platform. And I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors and our friends here at Roland Corporation. Tamboro Drums. Sorry, I just got the thumbs up from our tech guy. Go live. We're going live. Thanks, Edson. Tamboro Drums, Proel Corporation, and Sunhouse. So thank you to them, and big thank you to NGO Radio Terra. Today in lesson number 3, we're going to be talking about the grid, how to improve our time, how to maintain time, how to have a natural sense of time, our sound, and melody, right? We're going to talk a little bit about how we play with the click and how all this stuff is really just techniques to get ourselves as sharp with time as possible, because essentially that's what we as drummers do. That is our job. That's our role. There's different drummers that go into different sections in the philosophy of drumming. When I say sections, I mean different concepts and different philosophies in drumming, which could be highly melodic or highly complex or highly noise-based or highly technical, could be non-traditional. The most important thing, though, is to remember that the personality of a drummer and the thing that we typically get hired for is to keep that time straight, is to keep it good. There's metronomic time playing, and then there is just like solid natural time playing. Solid natural time playing doesn't mean that your tempo goes ahead and runs off even 2 or 3 BPM, so much as it means that it's not grid-like or super metronomic. It's kind of loose, but it stays the same from the top of the song to the end of the song. You know, then there's like metronomic playing, which is sort of like mimicking the metronome that we have been accustomed to playing to, and mimicking some of the machine-like tendencies that we're now expected to adopt into our playing because we are in 2025. Sample that. But it's important to remember that that's our goal, that's our vibe. So we have the ability to practice this in a couple different cool ways. These ways nobody really showed me all at once. I picked them up from different teachers throughout many years. And if you didn't hear that because I was messing around with the mic, I said I didn't learn all this all at once. Different teachers showed me this through the years. One of the ways that I like to practice my timekeeping is by making sure that my timekeeping is even when I change it up, so to speak. How we can do that is play through a series of subdivisions with the click on. And I'm going to show you how. right? And that's really important to do slow. You want to do that really, really slow, because then you can graduate to different faster tempos. Right? So if we take that through like all the tempos, then eventually you're going to smooth out a lot of the gaps in your time, and you're going to hear the subtle infractions in time that sometimes we commit when we're moving upwards and downwards in that spiral of subdivisions. Let's switch up the tempo. So I'm using different rudiments to work my way up and down this spiral of subdivisions, just to give you an idea of how it doesn't have to be super rigid and it doesn't have to be the same every time. I like to have fun with my rudiment playing, and I like to be a bit loose with some of these more rigid aspects of the thing. It doesn't mean that you don't have to lock in, though. When it comes time to lock in, comes time to lock in. But I'm trying to show you a broad variety of ways to approach this subdivision spiral concept, okay? Let's put this into a groove context. In fact, let me go ahead and put this on a different tempo. So right? So I'm going to be playing in and around that click with my groove. I'm going to take a groove and I'm going to start playing it in the center of the beat. Right? Maybe I'll start bringing the hi-hat back. Back to the center. And just for those visual learners out there, let's say this is the beat. Putting it in the center would mean, every time the beat hits, 2, 3, 4, you're hitting here in the center of it. Playing behind the beat would mean that every time the beat hits, you're playing behind it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Every time the beat hits and you're playing ahead of it, it would be 1, 2, 3. Maybe this isn't the best way to show you. Let me show you this way. Here we go. Center. One more time. Behind the beat. Center. Right? So I also showed you how it sounds when you kind of speed up and slow down in and around it to give you that idea of the rub. And this gives you sensitivity when you don't have a click on, and it starts to alert you inside of your body when you're speeding up and slowing down, because you've got this pulse kind of hammering away inside your brain already with no click on. It just starts to happen when you do this. Other ways that you can use the click is to displace the click by a beat or two. But then we flip it. Now it's on the upbeats. So you can go anywhere with it. You can expand on that. You can hear that one and put that anywhere. That's called displacing the one. All right? So another thing that I'm doing is I'm listening to the sound of my snare drum. I'm listening to the sound of my cymbals ring out. And I'm listening to particularly when that ring dies. So here it is. All right, no more sound. Now, sometimes the harder you hit the drum, the less resonant it is. Also, the more you dampen the drum, the less resonant it is. Right? So you can use that ring to your advantage. But I'm listening to the sound. And if I listen to the sound so carefully and so intently, I can use the beginning and the end of that sound to sort of mark one beat, right? And if I duplicate that and turn it into a loop, then I'm taking the same length in time and I'm looping it. Well, eventually that becomes a perfect loop unto itself. Right? So I'm trying to listen to that same sound, and I'm going to repeat that sound, and when I repeat it, it turns into a natural loop. And when you know and understand what you actually sound like, which what I mean by that is, what does it sound like when you make one note? How hard do you hit? How soft do you hit? Right? So all that. Velocity does affect tempo. And it's important, since this is a tempo conversation, to know that sometimes if you aren't aware that changing your velocity could affect your tempo, that could actually happen to you. So it's best to practice that ahead of time. Practice what happens when you get louder versus when you get softer. Do you change? Do you speed up, right? Keep that stuff in mind. Who's calling me? Sorry. Let me turn this ringer off, everybody. Okay. So, yeah. One thing that I thought of when I was showing you the thing about paying attention to your sound was that melody can greatly affect how your time is. So if you think about the melody of the song that you're playing and you sing that melody over and over again, that creates a perfect loop as well. It's just a loop over a much longer span of time. I guess I didn't shut it off. And that loop over a large span of time is still just as good as any to keep your time tight. Let me demonstrate. I'm going to sing a melody. I'm going to sing it not just in my head. I'm going to sing it aloud so as you can hear what it would be like if I were on the bandstand and I had to sing a melody to myself. I'm going to put a swing pattern on this to give you an idea of what I would call playing good natural time or keeping a good natural jazz pocket. Doing that by singing the melody. This is Stablemates by Benny Golson. Singing that again. Tag it. So I hope that served as a good example of what I would do is sing the melody over and over again in my head. Eventually I stopped singing it aloud to you, but sort of kind of marked it with my voice and scattered it a little bit under my breath. And eventually you could just see me working that melody over and over in my head as I keep time, as I'm sort of imagining myself comping. One of the ways that I keep myself in check with what my limbs are doing is I try and keep that left hand sounding like a representation of what the piano player would do. And the piano player listens to what my ride cymbal is doing and what the bass player is doing. My right foot represents the bass player, so my right foot is sort of tapping along naturally as I go. It's not just going boom, 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 right? Because a true bass player doesn't play like that always. They play with a little bit more looseness, so it'd be like boom, 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 the boom, 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 the boom, 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 boom. Right, so it's different than just straight quarter notes. And of course, I'm trying to play as little busy notes as possible. So I'm going to remove all the BS, and I'm just going to keep what matters in the kick drum, which is going to line up with the ride cymbal, which is what the piano player is listening to. So if my snare drum is sort of what that should be doing, then you're pretty much covering 3 different bases. You've got the hi-hat here, and the hi-hat here, I like to think of this as a church clap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This rhythm is always in there, no matter what we're doing in jazz or swing music. Right? So I'm thinking of this melody. I'm thinking of that subdivision spiral as a sort of grid, right, for all the possibilities rhythmically that could happen within a given tempo. I'm using that as a framework to keep me locked in. I'm using the melody. I'm singing that melody over and over again. I'm listening to the sound that I'm creating and measuring the time and the space between each hit, each note, right? I'm aware of myself in that much of a minute way. I'm aware of myself in that much of a macro way, right? So this is really about being globally aware of yourself and recognizing that any subtle change within this posture of yours, or any subtle change within your subdivisions, or any subtle change within how hard you're hitting can affect your time. It doesn't necessarily mean that it always has to, but it could. So this is why we practice, to work all that stuff out, right? We practice with a metronome so that we can go ahead and play in and around that. Let me see, what else? Did I miss anything? Wow, today's been a long lesson. Yeah, so I guess this is pretty much it. Another good thing to do is get a metronome that can allow you to customize the clicks. So get a metronome that gradually could speed up for you or gradually slow down for you. Get a metronome that could only play 1 click every 8 bars, or get a metronome that could pretty much take out 99% of all the clicks and just leave you with 1% of the clicks at any given tempo, and see how solid your time is then. These are all different ways that you can get super strong, and I would highly suggest digging into all of it right now, ASAP. Get in that practice room, just like I'm about to do, and enjoy yourself with the fruits of subdivision spirals, the fruits of playing with the metronome, the fruits of ultimately being able to do what it is that drummers are meant to do, which is keep the time. All the other stuff is creative work, is art, is your own personal expression on the drums. But at the heart of every amazing legend on the drums is somebody who's an incredible timekeeper. Never forget that. Much love to you. Thanks to NGO Radio Terra for having me every single week at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to Roland Corporation, Sunhouse Percussion, Proel Corporation, Tamboro Drums, Icon Microphones, and all the people that help us at NGO Radio Terra's YouTube channel. Peace and blessings. This has been lesson number 3 for trimester number 3 in 2025. I'll see you next week at 4 p.m. right here. Peace and blessings, everybody.